Hare Krishna. So we'll start with the recap. So first of all, the objective of this class is to enable reading the Bhagavad Gita shlok and to understand the meaning of the shlok and to help understand the basic philosophy of Gita. Yeah. So we are on chapter 2 now. The name is Contents of Gita Summarized. What we have covered till now is from shlok number 1 to 10, where Arjun shows his indecision and then he accepts Lord Krishna as his guru. Then we have covered from shlok number 11 to 30, which is Gyan or Sankhya Yoga, where we learned about the analysis of body and soul, that body is temporary and soul is eternal, right? Then we covered the 31 to 37 shlok, which was Sakam Karma Yoga in the last class, and that was answer to Arjun's second dilemma as how will I enjoy if I kill everyone, if my grandfather is killed and if my everyone is killed, my relatives are killed, then how will I enjoy? And then Krishna talked about Sakam Karma Yoga, which is Karma Kand, talking about that it is important to do your duty. And today we'll be moving to Nishkam Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, that is work with detachment, right? So let's quickly go through the summary of what we learned in the last class. So what Krishna said in the Sakam Karma Yoga is, Arjun, get up and do your duty. And then we learned about duty at both planes. We know that we are soul and we are still not liberated. So we have a duty from a soul perspective, and the duty of the soul is to pray to Krishna. That is the duty of the soul, because we are part and parcel of Krishna as per Bhagavad Gita 15.7. And then at the body level, we should do whatever is the Varna Ashram Dharma that we have. Based on that, we should do our duty. Whatever is the Swadha, whatever is our duty, we should do that, right? Then he said, if you do your duty properly, what will happen? Your destination, you will attain higher planet. You will go to higher planet. That is a destination he talked about, right? And then he said, you will go to Swarga, right? Then he said, if you don't do your duty properly, what will happen? You will incur sin. You will incur sin. So we cannot neglect our duty, because we are still this body, and as a body, whatever is our duty, we must do it as perfectly as we can. Yeah. And then he said, if you don't do your duty, what will happen? Not only you will incur sin, but also infamy. You are a great warrior, but everyone will, your reputation as a warrior will be spoiled. And then for a respectable person, death is better than dishonor. Death is better than dishonor. And then he also talked about criticism, how people will criticize the people, the great warriors who had high esteem, high respect for him. Everyone will criticize him and will doubt his ability, and they will make him feel insignificant. Yeah. And then he says, why do you worry? In both cases, you have a benefit. Yeah. One thing, if you die, then you will achieve Swarga. And if you are alive, what will happen? You will rule the entire world. Yeah. So do your duty and fight. This is what we learned as Sakam Karma Yoga in the Karma Kand section. Today we'll cover from shlok number 38 to shlok number 46. And this is the this particular part, which is Nishkam Karma Yoga, is the answer to Arjun's third dilemma, which is fear of sinful reactions, right? He said, I will incur sin if I kill my relatives, even if so that is this is the answer that he is giving. Yeah. So let's understand the word Nishkam Karma Yoga. Karma, we understand, is activity. Now Nishkam, Kam is desire. Kam is desire, right? Without desire. It means we do the work without expectation of any result. We do our duty as we should do, but we should not expect any results from that. We should not accept any. We should do our duty, whatever it is, right? And then this behavior, this part, when you are doing your duty without expectation of result, is called Karma Yoga. So whenever we talked about yoga, Karma Yoga, it is actually Nishkam Karma Yoga. It is not the Sakam Karma Yoga that we have talked about. It is Nishkam Karma Yoga, which is talked about. So Karma Yoga is basically Nishkam Karma Yoga. Yeah. So as I mentioned, this is the answer to Arjun's third dilemma, which is about, so this is the first chapter, 37 shlok, which says, Papa meva shed asman, hatve tant atitaina. Atitaina is the aggressor. If I kill the aggressor, although they are the aggressors, but if I kill them, I'll attain pap. So it's okay. We'll not read this one. So what he said was, sin will overcome us if we say such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husbands of the goddess of fortune. And how could we be happy? By killing our own kinsmen. This is what he put to Arjun in the first chapter. Now let us listen to what Krishna tells Arjun. So we all read the shlok number 38. We'll start. Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papam vapsyasi. Again. Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papam vapsyasi. Vanji.
Sukha dukhe same kritva
labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papam avapsyasi. So now Krishna is saying sukh dukhe same. Same is equipoised. Be equipoised in sukh and dukh is basically in happiness and distress. Labh and alabh, that is profit and loss. And jaya ajay, victory and defeat. In all situation, you be equipoised. Tato yuddhaya yujjasva, then you fight. Nevam papam vyapsyasi. He was saying I'll get pap. He says na evam pap, you will not get sin. Be equipoised because you are fighting for me. He is asking him to fight. So when you fight for Krishna, you will not get any sin. So now let us read the meaning of it. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat. And by so doing, you shall never incur sin. So the question is, when do we incur sin? So any activity that we do, there'll be a reaction to it, right? Any activity that we do, there's a reaction to it, right? Now, based on the activity we do, either the reaction will be good or it will be bad. Based on the activity that we do, the reaction will be good or bad. So whatever activity I'm doing, I'm going to get a reaction. So the question is, what should we do so that we don't get sin? So Krishna says that if you do any activity which you offer to me and then you do, you will not get sin. Yeah. So we'll take all these things in detail from 3rd chapter onwards, which is actually on karma only. So basically Krishna says anything that you do, if you're doing that as an offering to me, you will not get sin. Yeah. Okay. So let's now move to the next shlok. Now, whenever we are born, any living entity, as soon as the living entity is born, yeah, whether we know or not, we get debted by six debts comes on us. We incur 6 debts. Yeah. And those 6 debts are from our forefathers. Yeah. So for our forefathers, we are from dynasty. Yeah. So we get that from Devta. So think about it. Anything that you enjoy, which you need, not enjoy, what you need, actually is given to us free by the God. Yeah. So the soil is free from the earth. We get the food from there. The sun rays is free. The vayu is free. The water we drink, that is free. Yeah. So all major things that you need, we make things, but all the raw materials are free. It comes from earth. So anything that we actually need, basically it's free. We know how expensive oxygen is during the COVID time, right? We remember, but we don't even realize that we are using such free oxygen. We don't even thank God, right, for what we are getting. Yeah. So we have a rin, or we have a debt to Devta for giving all this free. We are just enjoying even without realizing that we are enjoying it, right? So that is one thing. Then we have rin to our rishis. Whatever knowledge you are gaining has been discovered and found by our rishis, which today we are learning, enjoying. Yeah. So we have not even realized it. But as soon as we are born in this world, we get we are indebted to them, right? Then we are indebted to the other living entities. Like for example, you go and buy rice and then you start cooking. But imagine that was actually grown by a farmer. And from farmer, the paddy, by the time it goes to the shop, how many hands it has crossed and how much work has been done. I have paid money and I think I'm done. But imagine if someone is not doing that work, you will not get that. You will not get that, right? So that is another, the people in general who works, the humanity in general. Then the kinsmen, the relatives, if they're not there, what life will be? If you're alone, yeah. So we are indebted to this six people, six thing when we are born, and that also has a reaction on us because we don't even pay them anything back. We don't pay anything back to them, right? So we are also carrying that reaction on us. So now let's go to the 9th shlok, which is 39th shlok. Esha te abhita sankhye.
Esha te abhita sankhye.
Buddhir yoge tumam shunu.
Buddhi yoge tamam shunu.
Buddhaya yukto yaya partha.
Buddhaya yukto yaya partha.
Karma bandham prahasyasi.
Karma bandham prahasyasi.
Esha te abhita sankhye.
Esha te abhita sankhye.
Buddhir yoge tamimam shunu.
Buddhi yoge tamam shunu.
Buddhaya yukto yaya partha.
Buddhaya yukto yaya partha.
Karma bandhan prahasyasi.
Karma bandham prahasyasi.
Shil Prabhu.
Esha te abhita sankhye.
Esha te abhita sankhye.
Buddhi yoge tamam shunu.
Buddhir yoge tamam shunu.
Buddhaya yukto yaya partha.
Buddhaya yukto yaya partha.
Karma bandham prahasyasi.
Karma bandhan prahasyasi. So now Krishna says that abhita means described. So till now esha te abhita means described. So what I have described till now? Sankhya. Sankhya is what? Gyan Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, that he has explained to us about the analysis of body and soul. Yeah. So that is what he has been talking to us till now. So buddhir yoge tva imam shunu. Tva, you, imam, now. Shunu is suno. Listen. What do you listen? Buddhir yoga. I'm going to explain you now. Buddhir yoga. Buddhaya yukto yaya partha. Hey Parth, hey Arjun, yaya, if you do the work based on attached to buddhi, by using your intelligence, what will happen? Karma bandhan prahasyasi. You will not get the reactions of the karma. Karma bandhan prahasyasi. You will not get the bondage of the works. So if you do the work using buddhi yoga, what will happen? You'll be free from the bondage of the work. So we'll go into detail about what is buddhi yoga, but let's now read the meaning of it. Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such a knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. So here, the important words are Sankhya. Sankhya is basically what Sankhya Yoga that we have already learned. Buddhi Yoga, we will talk about that. Yeah. And Buddhya Yukto and Karma Bandhan, right? Now, Buddhi, what is Buddhi Yoga? Buddhi is intelligence. Buddhi is intelligence. What is Yoga? Yoga is connecting to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Connection. Yoga actually means connection to the God. Yeah. That is what is yoga. That is the meaning of the yoga actually. Yeah. And now he's saying that connection via your intelligence is buddhi yoga. He said till now what he did, he gave us the knowledge. First the knowledge of body and soul. Krishna first gave us the knowledge of body and soul so that we all know that we are not this body. Our actual is we are soul and we have taken up, we are wearing this body. Yeah, that's what we understood in the Sankhya Yoga, right? So he first gave us the knowledge about body and soul, right? Then he told us about karma, but he told us about sakam karma. He said about work. So knowledge and work he has already explained to us. Now he's saying, do it with intelligence. It means do the work without using your intelligence. It means without detachment. You know, if you do your work with intelligence, now he's taking us to the next level, Buddhi Yoga. Yeah, Buddhi Yoga is you are doing your work without detachment, and it is whatever you are doing, it is for Krishna. It is attached to Krishna. That is what is Buddhi Yoga. Yeah. So the definition of Buddhi Yoga actually comes in the 10th chapter. Yeah. And there in the 10th chapter, 10th shlok, which is one of the very important shlok of Gita, which says, Tesham satat yuktanam bhajtam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yen mam upandite. Tesham, those who, satatam is always, yuktanam, they are always attached to what? Bhajtam, praying to me, priti purvak, with love. Those who are attached to me were, satatam, always thinking about me with love. What I do? I give them, dadami, I give them buddhi yoga. I give them the intelligence, and so that they can come to me. That is what he explains there, right? Now, in this chapter, as we have started, Buddhi Yoga is also, if you look, when Yoga is again connection to Krishna, doing the work, but with detachment, which is also becomes Nishkam Karma Yoga. But Nishkam Karma Yoga, not at the basic level. Yeah, I'm trying to, I mean, the primary stage will be anyone who starts the work. It is the first stages. I'm doing the work, I'll try to be detached. I will not accept the free. But when you are doing your work connected to Krishna in a totally detached way, not expecting the fruit at all, that is what is Buddhi Yoga. That's the highest this thing, right? That is the Buddhi Yoga. Basically, the highest one is, it is like, it's Bhakti Yoga. Yeah, that is what is Krishna will be talking to us. Now he says, Karma Bandhan Prahasyasi. You will be able to, if you do the work, Buddhi Yukta, if you do the work with that thought that you are not going to, you are doing whatever you are doing, you are offering to Krishna, and you are not expecting the fruit of it, then you will be actually able to come out of the, you will be able to come across this bandhan of karma. So how actually it works? It works like this. Just like we have a bank balance, right? So in bank, we keep our money. Now there's a bank of karma, right? Anything we are doing, any good thing that we are doing, we get a positive reactions come there. Any bad things we do, negative reactions come there. Yeah. Yeah. That is how the karma banks keep on building. Fine. What is our objective? The soul wants to get liberated. What is the goal of life? Goal of life is the soul should get liberated. That is what. And when will the soul get liberated? When liberation means you should be able to, now you should be able to break the cycle of birth and death. You should be able to break the cycle of birth and death. Now, till in that bank balance, you have positive or negative reactions. You have to take birth either to enjoy that or to suffer for that. That karmic bank that you have, whatever actions we are doing, there is a positive reaction or a negative reaction happening in that, right? Now, we cannot come out of this liberation. We cannot get liberated unless we make that bank account zero. Fine? Fine, understood? So this is the basic principle of karmic reactions and all. Now the question is, what to do? There's already something there. What to do from today so that my account doesn't increase or decrease? Yeah. So we'll get into more detail later. But any activity, if you offer to Krishna, all the action and reaction gets absorbed by Krishna. And then when we do that activity, that becomes free from karmic reactions. Then your bank balance remains whatever positive, negative it had. And anything that you are doing, actually, you can make it. You can make it. Krishna conscious. You can anything that you do. The salary you get, you earn, and anyway, all of us that we live, though we have to spend on us and spend. So offer it to Krishna, and then take from Krishna to spend it for yourself, because you need to eat so that you can serve Krishna. Any activity that do, you can actually keep your reaction zero. And all that we'll read in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th chapter. Slowly it will take us, it'll give. This is a summary chapter, so I don't even want to go much in detail, but this is what the basic principle is. Our intention is to, our goal of life is to break this cycle of birth and death. That is what we want to do. Okay, that is the real purpose of our life. That is the goal of our life. Yeah, and get liberated. And that is now, so he says, if you do that, buddhi yukta. What is buddhi yukta? Buddhi yoga, do everything for me, dedicated to me, you do it. Yeah, and if you do with that intelligence, karma bandhan prihasi, the bandhan of karma, you'll be out of that bandhan of karma. Perhaps you'll be able to break that. You'll be able to free yourself from the bondage of works. Clear? So we'll go to the next shlok. Again, a very important shlok. We'll say he now talks about the praise. He's now praising this this buddhi yoga in this shlok. Neha bhrikamana shovasti. Pratyavayu na vidyate. Swalpamapasya dharmasya. Trayate mahato bhayat. Neha bhikramana asti. Pratyavayu na vidyate. Swalpamapasya dharmasya. Trayate mahato bhayat. Neha vikramanasosti. Pratyavayu na vidyate. Swalpamapasya dharmasya. Trayate mahato bhayat. Now here, the word is abhikrama. Abhikrama means endeavor. Abhikrama means endeavor, effort. Now, before that, the word is na iha. Iha means, iha he is referring back to buddhi yoga. This is a continuation of the last shlok. In this endeavor, which endeavor? In the buddhi yoga, neha bhikrama nashvasti, na nasho. There is no loss. If you follow the buddhi yoga process, in that effort, if you follow, no nasho, no loss. Asti hai. Pratyavayu, neither there is any destruction or decrease or diminution for you. Na vidyate, you will not get either any loss or diminution to you if you follow this. Swalpamapasya, even a little, swalpamapasya dharmasya. If you do dharma, even little, if you are living your life even little like this, trayate mahato bhayat. Trayate means you'll get released. Bhayat means fear. From the great fear you will get relieved. You will get saved from the great fear. So what is a great fear? Can you think what is a great fear?
To be born again.
Huh?
To be in this cycle of life, death and life.
Yes, that is true. A bit more, Rupam. We are in the right direction. Trayato mahato bhayat. What is the greatest fear?
Sin.
So one is coming back, but the biggest fear is you are falling down from the human life to an animal life, because it is only in human life that this life that we have, it is very, very precious. We are wasting our life. This human form is very, very precious, because only in this life, only as a human, we can break the cycle of birth and death and get liberated. This is the only form. But if you waste this one, if you are wasting this one, then what will happen? Without, you are just enjoying and you are keeping your bank balance of positive and negative, what will happen? If the negative becomes higher, there's a danger that you will downgrade to animal life, insect life, but we don't know what life. And when you go down in that life, what life, you don't know. You will not have the consciousness to pray to God and come back. You will go only in lower yoni. You will not have the consciousness to pray and come up also. So this human life that we have got is extremely precious. Don't waste this life by by misusing it in a different, by spending it in just fun, or even just accumulating wealth, accumulating possessions and other things. Yeah, because whatever you're earning, whatever you're doing, it will leave behind. When you die, it'll get left behind in this, it'll left behind here, right? You are not going to take anything with you. You are not going to take anything with you. When you die, whatever hard work you would have done, whatever amount of houses you would have constructed, whatever bank balance would have, you will just leave everything and you'll go. What is going to go with you, with the soul? Only swalpamasya dharmasya, whatever you have done as a part of your dharma. That is the only thing. Whatever you are doing, the thing that you are giving to God, you are spending with God, that is the only thing that the soul will carry. So we talked about soul has got two kravas, right? It's a gross body and a subtle body. Yeah, the gross body, earth, water, fire, ether, and it will get burnt when the body is burnt. But mind, the second subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, and ego, it goes with you till you are liberated. That continues with you, and it will know the impressions what you have done in this life. It will have the impressions of this life, and it will go with you. Clear? So here, very important, swalpamapasya dharmasya, even a little effort that you will put in this one. What is trayate mahatobhyat? It means the greatest danger of lowering from the human life to another life will be gone, because at least you will be born as a human. At least you will be born as a human, so that you will again have a chance to work towards it, to work up. Right? And first thing is, congratulate all of us that today, like, it is not that today you have come here, you all are carrying it from behind. Whoever is listening also virtually, everyone, because you are attracted to Bhagavad Gita, because you are carrying something from your past. There are so many people, everyone gets message, no one comes, or so many people, less people come, because they have movie to see, they have so many things. Sunday evening, who will waste their time? Isn't it? But then those who are interested and sit to listen this, they are already having that dharmasya, they have already done that in the previous life, and that your journey is continuing in this life. Now it is upon you. You want to complete this journey in this life, or you want to again, take it lightly and be born again as a human and continue with that. So it's all in our hands. First thing is having that knowledge. And after having that knowledge, what do you do with that knowledge? Understood? So this is a very important shlok. And there's an example about a student course. It's like this: a student who took admission in engineering or any branch, say a 3 years course. He worked for 2 years. After 2 years, he dropped out for the course. But the 2 years knowledge is still with him, right? So the soul carries that knowledge, not in the material sense, but the time that you're spending with Krishna and other, that you carry with you. Similarly, the Ajamil story that we talked about last time. So Ajamil, when he was a bachelor, when he was in the initial years, he was a big devotee of Narayan. He's a very, very big. It's a story from Bhagavatam. He was a very big devotee of Narayan. But then he went to a forest to get woods and or something for his yajna, and there he saw a mating happening. And then he saw a prostitute, and he actually got entangled with that prostitute for many years. But because of his good dharma that he had done, he named his youngest son as Narayan. He had forgotten that part, but he used to call him Narayan. And when he was about to die, when the Yamdut came, he started, out of fear, anxiety, he started calling Narayan. But then, when you call the name of the God, whether in anxiety or otherwise, God comes. And then Vishnu Duta was sent, and the Yamduta had to go back. And then that was a lesson for his life, and he changed his life. He worked, he did his devotional service again, and later he got moksha, liberation. Yeah. So now we go to the next shlok. Vyavsayatmika buddhir
Sahyatmika buddhi.
Ekehe kuru nandana.
Ekehe kuru nandana.
Bahushakha hyanantascha.
Bahushakhayanantasya.
Buddhiyo avyasainam.
Buddhayo prasayanam.
Vyavasayatmika buddhir.
Vyavasayatmika buddhi.
Ekehe kuru nandana.
Ekehe kuru nandana.
Bahushakha hyanantascha.
Bahushakhayanantasya.
Buddhiyo avyasainam.
Buddhayo vyavasayinam.
Rupam.
Vyavasatmika buddhir.
Vyavasayatmika buddhir.
Ekah kuru nandana.
Ekehe kuru nandana.
Bahusakhayan anantascha.
Bahushakha hyanantascha.
Buddhayo vyavasana.
Buddhiyo avyasainam. Okay, now here a very important word is Vyavasayatmika buddhir. Yeah, buddhir ekehi. Ekehi is one. Vyavasayatmika buddhi is, it's basically, it's a resolute determination, one-pointed determination. It is one-pointed determination. Kuru Nandana is Arjun. Yeah, Bahushakha. So now let's talk about Vyavasayatmika alone, and then we'll go to the other part. Now, to achieve anything, if you want to achieve anything in your life, you really want to achieve, it has to be one-pointed intelligence. You have to really be focused, one-pointed, then only you will achieve it. Now, if you want to go to IIT, you have to be one-pointed. You would have just studied, right? You want to be the best batsman representing your country, you have to be only focused there, right? So anything that you want to achieve in your life, and it is a difficult goal, it is not just XYZ. What will happen? You have to give a focused attention. Yeah, complete focused, one-pointed attention, complete focused attention, then only you will achieve it, right? Now here it says Vyavasayatmika buddhir. Buddhir is intelligence. Buddhir is intelligence. Now, with one-pointed, so unless you are resolute in your, determined in your, in your mind that yes, you have to achieve it. If you don't have that, what will happen? You will not achieve it, right? So let's read the next line. Bahushakha hyanantascha buddhiyo avyasainam. Avyasainam is the people who don't have one-pointed attention. The people who don't have one. So what will happen? They will get bahushakha. They are distracted into multiple things. They're distracted into multiple things. But if you want Krishna, you have to have a one-pointed intelligence, focusedly working towards that, and then only you will achieve that thing, right? So let's read the meaning and then we'll go into detail. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of Kurus. The intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So here he's talking about that if you want to achieve something higher, what you have to do? You have to have one-pointed focus, attention. Your all intelligence should go towards that, right? Your all intelligence should go to that. And I mean, we can give example of anything that anyone achieves which is very high. It is because of that, right? Similarly, for achieving Krishna, we have to focusedly work for him, and then only we can achieve. And to achieve this Krishna, so you have to have two knowledge. First thing, that the knowledge of soul, so that you know what is body and soul and destination of soul and how it gets liberated. And second thing, Vasudevam Sarvamati se Mahatma Sudurlabha. Krishna says in the 7th chapter, 19th Shlok, he says, to achieve Krishna, if you want to achieve Krishna, if you want to get that, first thing you have to have a faith. Your faith should be resolute. You know that, okay, because of Krishna is happening. If you don't have that faith, and you doubt, then it is irresolute, right? So you have to, your faith has to be so resolute that then only you can achieve. And for that, you should know two things. That person who has that faith will definitely believe, has two information knowledge. One is about the soul, and second thing, what is the Krishna says in the 7th chapter 19th slok, he says, Bahunam janmanamante jnanavanam prapadyate Vasudevam sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Krishna says in the chapter, in 7th chapter, Bahunam janmanamante, after many births and deaths, after many, at the end of many births and deaths, what happens? You get the knowledge. Jnanavan prapadyate. You get the knowledge. What knowledge you get? Yeah, Vasudevam sarvamiti. That Krishna is everything. Krishna says this in the 7th chapter, because from 7th chapter the Bhakti Yoga starts. From 7th to 12th is the Bhakti Yoga, and then he starts talking about himself and starts talking about that. And he says, Vasudevam sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Aisa mahatma, such person who knows about this, that Krishna is everything, is very durlabh, is very rare, is very rare. Yeah. So this is what. So you have to have that faith. Then only you can achieve Krishna, or you can go near Krishna. Yeah. And a very good example I wanted to give is of Srila Prabhupada. And I don't know how much, let me talk about him. Yeah, I mean, he's an example. When I was reading this, the one example, Vyavsayatmika Buddhi, one pointed attention is, to me, he's the example of that. He went to US, America, at the age of 68, 69.
He was a pharmacist, I think.
He was a pharmacist. He started in pharmacist. And then what happened? He was young. And at that point of time, his friend came and said, his friend came and said that, one sadhu has come, whose name was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. He has come from Mayapur. Why don't we go and visit him? He says, no, I don't want to visit sadhu and all. I don't believe in them. He said, his friend said, no, come, let's go and take his ashirwad. And then he said, fine. As soon as when he entered, they did Dandvat Pranam. And when they were doing actually that, he looked at them and says, you are educated young men. Why don't you preach the message of Krishna in the world? He asked that to them. And before he could get up, Prabhupada was very surprised that what is this? I mean, even I have not even, he's asking me that you go and spread the message of Krishna in the world. Yeah. He could hardly believe this. Then he replied, how is it possible? This was in 1922. India is already under British rule. How can we talk about our culture? And you are telling me to go and spread it in the world? How is that possible? He says, Gita's message is beyond any Indian politic or anything. That is the thing that should be done. He said the teachings of Bhagavad Gita are so important, so exclusively important that it cannot wait. You go and distribute this knowledge. And then they both came out. And when came out, his friend asked, what do you think? He says, the message of Bhagavad Gita is in the hands of a very expert person. It should be in the hands of every expert person. That is what he wanted to do. And slowly, after a few years, then he became his disciple. And then he told him, you go and spread this message in all the English speaking world. Yeah. And to fulfill his guru's desire. Now imagine the faith. Imagine the faith. To fulfill his guru's desire, he left for US in a ship with only 40 rupees in his pocket. And in Vrindavan, there is a Damodar Radha temple where actually he stayed. And he converted all the Bhagavatam. He converted 3 Bhagavatam actually. He converted the first Bhagavatam from Sanskrit to English. He carried those Bhagavatam, 3 Bhagavatam with him, because by then he had not translated it in English. He took Bhagavatam and he had only 40 rupees. And he took the ship, which took 3 months to reach there. And he had heart attack in the way. I think he had two times he got heart attack. And he reached there and he said, I have come to give this message. If it is not faith, so that is resolute faith. That's an example of resolute faith. And believe me, if you have that faith, you'll get him. It's a resolute faith. It doesn't matter what you have, because if he's there with you, you don't need anything else. If he's there with you, you don't need anything else. He takes care of you. There's a story where, when the guru and the shishya, they are walking together, and Krishna and the shishya, they are walking together, and then he said, don't look back. Yeah, you can only see from the footsteps that that I'm there. So so the devotee asked later that Krishna, when I was walking, when I was in the most difficult time, I could see only one pair of footprints. I could not see yours. He said, yeah, because you were in my hand. So there was only one pair of footprint. So if you have that resolute faith, and if you know that Vasudevam Sarvamiti, then with that faith, you can cross this this bhavsagar that we have. Yeah. So I wanted to convey this, and he built 108 temples in the world. He built, before he died, he built 108 temples. So he's an example. Yeah, with a strong faith and a belief in Krishna. Yeah. Now we go to the next shlok. Yamimam pushpitam vacham
Yamimam pushpitam vacham
pravadantya vipaschitah vedavadatah partha
vedavadatah partha
nanyat astiti vadina
nanyasiti vadina
kamatmanah swargapara
kamatmana swargapara
janma karma phalapradam
janma karma phalapradam
kriya vishesha bahulam
kriya vishesha bahulam
bhogeshwaram gatim prati
bhogeshwarya gatim prati
yamimam pushpitam vacham
yamimam pushpitam vacham
pravadantya vipaschitah
pravadantya vipaschitah
vedavadatah partha
vedavadatah partha
na anyadastiti vadinah
nanyasiti vadinah
kamatmanah swargapara
kamatmana swargapara
janma karma phalapradam
janma karma phalapradam
kriya vishesha bahulam
kriya vishesha bahulam
bhogeshwarya gatim prati.
bhogeshwarya gatim prati
Vaishnavi.
Yamimam pushpitam vacham
Yamimam pushpitam vacham
pravadantya vipakshitah
pravadantya vipaschitah vedavadatah partha nanyat astiti vadinah kamatmanah swargapara janma karma phalapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogeshwarya gatim prati. So till now in the 41st shlok we just talked about Vyavasayatmika buddhi, right? Now we are going to read about the next part, which is avyavasayatmika buddhi. Yeah, those who are not resolute in their determination. Then what happens? Then we talk about 42 and 43. Yeah. So he says those who are avyavasayatmika are avipaschit. Can you see the word avipaschit? First line, last word. Avipaschit is they are people of small knowledge. Men of small knowledge. They are not irresolute in their determination. They are men of small knowledge. Men or women, all of small knowledge. What they do? Ya imam pushpitam vacham. Pushpitam means flowery. Vacham means words. Ya imam. What they do? Ya imam. They believe in the flowery words of Veda. What they do? They actually, those who are avipashita, those who are men of small knowledge, they get attached to the flowery words of Vedas. They are Vedvadrata. They are Vedvada. They'll get attached to that words, Partha. And then why do they get attached? Because Kriya Vishesh Bahula. Bahula means many. And Kriya Vishesh means fruitive activities. Kriya Vishesh. Yeah. So basically, Kriya is work. Vishesh. So basically, if you go to, I'll talk about Veda in the next slide. But what happens is they get attracted to the flowery word. Now, the word here is flowery. When you are attached to flowery words, they are actually looking at only that part of Veda which is talking about the Kriya Vishesh Bahula, many fruitive results. You do this yagya, you will get this result. You do this, you will get this. Yeah. So they will get into that mode. Yeah. And then what will happen? And by doing, say, what it say? If you do this, you will get the heavenly planet, Swarga Para. You will get Swarga Para. You will get the heavenly planets. Do this, the yagya you will actually be eligible for yagya. Then Janma Karma Pradam, you will be eligible for higher birth. For the power, you'll get this power. This will happen if you do it. Yeah. If you do this activity, this will happen, right? And then what will happen? And such people who are desirous, kamatmana, those who are desirous of this calm, what will happen? They are so much desirous of calm, that is the sense gratification, and bhogaishwaram gatim. They are so much, bhogaishwarya is material opulence. They are so much into bhoga and aishwarya that they will say, na anyad astiti pravadadya means they will say, what they will say? Na anyad astiti vadina. There is nothing else but this. So those people, now let's read the meaning. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Now it is very important to understand the Vedas first. Now in the Veda, we know we have 4 Vedas. Yeah, Rig Veda, Samved, Yajurveda, and Atharvaveda, right? Now there are various khand in Veda. There are various khand in, there are 4 parts. I mean, at a higher level, there are 4 parts in Veda. First part is Samhita. Sanhita, like, we say Brahm Sanhita or Garg. They are basically Garg Samhita. They are basically prayers to the god. They're hymns. Any Vedas have those 4 khand, right? So first is hymns. Second part is rituals. How to perform the rituals as per our procedure, right? The third part is Aranyak. Aranyak is again very special rituals and special hymns. And then is Upanishad. Upanishad is a part of Veda. Now the first 3 part comes under Karm Kand. The first 3 comes under Karm Kand. Yeah, it means it deals with the fruitive activities. Do this, this will happen. Do this, this will happen. Do this, this will happen. And Upanishads are the transcendental part. Each Vedas have Upanishads, their own Upanishads, and there are multiple Upanishads that we have, which is linked to each Veda. Okay. Now even the Gita is a Gita Upanishad. Yeah. So the Upanishads talks about transcendental knowledge, which will take you beyond this material world. But what happens? We get stuck in the first part. We are not able to mature enough, because when we do that part, we actually get the results, and then we are so much into this power and all that we get lost there. We don't move forward. You will see normally people reading hymns or reading the, getting the thing. No one talks about the Upanishads. Upanishads, oh, it's too hi-fi, isn't it? So don't mistake that, we should not do it. No. In Veda, the first part, the Karm Kand part, people get entangled in that part, is what he's saying, what Krishna is saying here, right? Now let's go back. So here, what we talked about. So we talked about that those who are people with less knowledge, they get attracted to the flowery words, and then so basically what will happen? Why? Now initially in the second, when we talk about Sakam Karma Yoga, Krishna says to Arjun, okay, fight. If you die, you will get Swarga. Yeah, and that is what Vedas does. When you are at a low level, it pulls you up and shows the carrot. Move up. This is the advantage. Yeah, so that you get entangled, you start moving in that, you start having belief in that, and slowly you move up your path. So that you cannot directly say someone, oh, go and do so. You are not capable of doing that at that level. If Krishna would have told Arjun, okay, get up, do this, so he had to take him from down level, slowly up, right? At this time, after Sakam, when he has given him the Swarg, now here he's saying, Swarg is what? Swarg, what do you want Swarg? Why not Swarg? Because again, later in the chapter, he'll explain, Swarg is also material. Swarg is also in the material world. So what will happen when you go to Swarg? You will enjoy, and then you'll come back to earth. You're not getting liberated. But your goal is to get liberated. That's why Krishna says, now Krishna is pulling him to the next level and showing him that Swarga is not the final thing. You come up. Yeah. So he says those who are avyavsayatmika, those who are less knowledge, less intelligent, they will get attracted and they will, but finally you have to move up, right? Now we move to the next shlok, which is Bhogeshwarya Pasaktanam
भोगेश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां
Daya Prahata Chetasam
प्रयाप्रतचेतसां
Vyavsayatmika Buddhi
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि
Samadhau na vidhiyate
समाधौ न विधीयते
Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam
भोगेश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां
Daya Prahata Chetasam
प्रयाप्रतचेतसां
Vyavsayatmika Buddhi
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि
Samadhau na vidhiyate.
समाधौ न विधीयते
Beauty. Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam Daya Prahata Chetasam Vyavsayatmika Buddhi Samadhau na vidhiyate. Now here Krishna says, again he's continuing from the 42 and 43rd shlok. So they are get attracted to those flowery words, and they are more on Bhoga Aishwarya. So when you are into Bhoga Aishwarya, you are again into the back to the getting more entangled into the birth and death cycle. Yeah, that's why that is not good. Then what will happen? Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam. They are so much attached to Bhog and Aishwarya. Aishwarya is material opulence and Bhog is sense gratification. They are so much attached to that. Taya Prahata Chetasam. Chet is consciousness. Their consciousness is totally bewildered. Their mind is totally bewildered. They are so much bewildered that Vyavsatmika Buddhi, they cannot have a focused mind. Their intelligence cannot get focused. When you say, why I am not able to control my mind? Because you are so much attached to sense gratification and enjoyment that you cannot actually become focused. You cannot control your mind. Yeah. Samadhav na vidhiyate. You will never get that, because their whole mind is on enjoyment. And then there's a very beautiful example that was there, that is talked about a student. Now see, a student, after doing a lot of studies, has taken admission in a prestigious college. Yeah. And after getting to that college, the student is going around in the city, finding out how many restaurants are there, what am I doing, which restaurant I have enjoyed, okay, where will I go to the next place? This is a new city. Now let me go to this place. Yeah. And then, okay, this weekend, now next, let me go to beach. Let me go to the beach. So what is happening? The child, the student, is actually lost into the Bhog and Aishwarya, and has forgotten the main goal why the student had come to college. You're able to relate to it?
Yes.
Yeah. So what happens is, you have worked hard to go to a prestigious college, but after going there, you want to enjoy. You are attached to so much Bhog and Aishwarya. So what happened? You are involved and you're so much attached that your final objective, why you had been there to perform, it is all lost. Now look, the same thing is with us. We are in this human world, human life, to get liberated. But how much time do we spend with God? We don't have time even to do one round of jap. We don't have time even to do one round of jap. Yeah. So all of us, we what we do is, we don't want to do that. We don't have time for that, right? So that is very important. That it's the same example that is there. It applies for all of us. We have taken birth in this human life, and we cannot waste it. If we are going to go around searching all these things in Bhoga and Aishwarya, what will happen? I want to sleep more. You will become a bear in the next life. You want to that is in our Shastra. I'm not speaking on my own. You want to wear scantily dresses, you'll become a tree. It is all described in the scriptures. I'm not saying from my own. It is written in the scriptures. What you are behaving, accordingly, you'll get the result. Yeah. So if you go to the next, it's all there in the scripture. What will happen with what your behavior you're doing? But what is happening is, we are supposed to get out of this cycle. Yeah. It's the same. I mean, I really like the example of student, because we can relate to it. All of us do it. It's not that, even once you get to college, you just have fun. We have achieved the thing, right? But then it's a thing about the human life. We are wasting our life by doing, working a lot and everything. But what is happening? Where we should invest time, we are not. And Krishna says, Swalpamasya dharmasya trayato mahato bhayat. Agar tum thoda bhi karoge, तो you will actually get the human life back at least. You have a chance to actually move forward, right? Yeah, then let's go to the next slok. Trigunya Vishaya Veda.
Trigunya Vishaya Veda.
Nistre Gunyo Bhavarjuna.
Nistrayogyo Bhavarjuna.
Nirdvando Nitya Sattvastho.
Nirvando Nityasattvasto.
Yoga Kshema Atmavan.
Niyogakshema Atmavan.
Trigunya Vishaya Veda.
Trigunya Vishaya Veda.
Nistre Gunyo Bhavarjuna.
Nistrayogyo Bhavarjuna.
Nirdvando Nitya Sattvastho.
Nirvando Nityasattvasto.
Yoga Kshema Atmavan.
Niyogakshema Atmavan.
Barman.
Trigunya Vishaya Veda.
Trigunya Vishaya Veda.
Trigunya Bhavarjuna.
Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna.
Nirdvando Nitya Sattvastho.
Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvastho.
Niryogakshema Atmavan.
Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. So basically he says Trigunya Vishya Veda. The Vedas talks about, the Karam Kanda of the Veda talks about the three modes of material nature. There is a complete chapter, the chapter number 14, the Gita is only about three modes of material nature. In short summary, we all know mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, right? If you are in goodness, what is happening? You are detached, you will be selfless, and you will be doing all more towards religious, right? Now, if you are in passion, you'll always looking what am I going to get? What is for me? Yeah, you will always be more focused towards yourself, right? And if it is ignorance, then you will be lazy, not doing work and all, right? So what we'll do is, so this is what it is. So now let's read the meaning. The Vedas deal mainly with
The Vedas deal mainly with
the subject of the three modes of material nature.
the subject of the three modes of material nature.
O Arjun,
O Arjuna,
become transcendental to these three modes.
become transcendental to these three modes.
Be free from all dualities
Be free from all dualities
and from all anxieties for gain and safety,
and from all anxieties for gain and safety.
and be established in the self.
And be established in the
So
self.
basically, Krishna says, "Come out, O Arjun, come out of this Trigunya. You become Nistrigunya. You come out of that Nistrigunya bhav. Come out of the three modes. Go to the transcendental plane. Go to the transcendental plane and Nirvandva Nitya Sattva. So be free from dualities. Don't look at happiness, distress, and all. Be free from that, so that you can and be established in self." We'll read the last slok. Yavanartha utpane
Yavanartha-utpane
sarvata sampluptodake
sarvata samplutodake
tavan sarveshu vedeshu
tavan sarveshu vedeshu
brahmanyasya vijanatah.
brahmanasya vijanatah.
I think it's time, so I'll just finish it off. All purpose. So Yavan Arthe Utpane. Utpane means wells. Utpane means well. So Yavan Arthe, whatever purpose, the wells, multiple wells that you get, all those things can be served by a big water reservoir. Yeah, instead of a multiple wells, you can have a big water reservoir. You can get all the things from there. Similarly, Tavans, that's why. So similarly, all the purpose of the Vedas can be served by the person who knows what is the conclusion of the Vedas. Yeah, so you don't have time in this life to read entire Veda and entire Upanishad and all. And Krishna says in the 15th chapter, the 15th slok, he says, Vedaishcha sarvair aham vedayo. Vedanta krit vedam chaham. So basically, Krishna says in the 15th slok of Bhagavad Gita that from the entire Ved, I am to be known. That is the 15th slok of 15th chapter. He says, Vedaishya sarve aham eva vedyo. From Vedyo is to know. What is the essence of the Veda? You don't get entangled into all this karma kand, or the whole purpose of Vedas is to know me. So do that. Yeah, and we'll just close by closing the summary what we have read today. Buddhi Yoga, we learned about the Buddhi Yoga, means connecting to Krishna and do devotional service to Krishna without any expectation from any result. Then it talks about a small endeavor in this path would save from great danger, falling from human life form to animal life. Like then we read about Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. With one pointed intelligence towards Krishna, we would be able to go near to Krishna. Then those who are too much attached to the flowery words of Vedas, breaking liberation cycle of birth and death is very difficult. People who are not resolute in their determination, attached to Bhog and Aishwarya, their mindsets to get the higher goal is not possible, right? And we should try to come out of these three modes of material nature and establish ourselves in self. And the purpose of the Vedas is to know Krishna. So with this, we'll close today's session. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna.